So, this topic is going to be funny, but I hope it turns out to be interesting for you guys. So, I'll be looking at Halloween. Halloween, you know, the I don't know about Halloween very well, but I know one or two things to help me drive my point home. Cause I always like researching about some Western acceptable cultures that have similarities with what we practice here and we demonize. Because it's very important to know that everything about us, as we've been taught to demonize every single thing. We taught to demonize the chi, taught to demonize the chuku, taught to demonize indiche, taught to demonize nzu. You see somebody using nzu or using kola nut even in a public gathering to pray has been turned to what I don't even understand. So let's look at this acceptable masquerade culture of Halloween. When it comes to Halloween seasons, the white men really love their holidays. But down here, I even think some people are now even wearing masks and doing their own Halloween, but it's not as popular as how the white men or how the Westerners do it. But down here, people are now wearing masks and doing masquerade balls and the rest of it. Well, they're wearing masquerade balls and costumes. Well, they forget that we also have our own masquerade. But let's look at the origin of this Halloween and look at its ties with ancestral worship. Now, Halloween originally here is a Celtic holiday known as Samhain. Now, this holiday now, so this tradition coincided with, they saw it then as the time for lighting bonfires, and those bonfires are going to help them to ward off spirits. They also saw this Halloween as a new year festival, which is weird though. Now, in so many pop culture like Merlin, now they did something similar. One where Morgana murdered, killed more girls, and used her blood to activate or break the spirit veil that allowed the dead to walk among the living. Now this is just like an example that they gave. Now looking at the date of this Halloween, which is October 31st, it has this because after October 31st, November 1st is actually the Feast of All Saints according to the Catholic. Now they said that history will always tell you that, not history, but people would always try to look at Christianity as being authentic, but Christianity has huge crime to pay when it comes to plagiarism. It picks a lot of other concepts, other people's culture, and interpret it as their own. So, according to they said that this Halloween was a time where it was because it was a festival prior to the Feast of All Saints. It was supposed to be a time to preach goodness, where people put on costumes, saintly costumes, to commemorate or to celebrate the life the saints actually lived. But these days, people just wear Halloween costumes of villains and witches and other kind of costumes that people are more fine-tuned to, which to the Christians wasn't the initial concept. Now, Halloween originally is basically known as a time where the dead walk freely among the living. Now, in Celtic history, they see it as a time where people gather around the bonfire to tell stories of their dead ancestors, stories, the kind of life they lived. They celebrated their dead ancestors then, but now they said the festival is just mainly for parties. People don't sit around to hear these stories. Well, I think it's because of the adulteration already has been Christianized, and at some point people think anything Christian doesn't really make sense to them, and many people don't really know the original history. Many people grew up seeing it as an opportunity to party, while other people see it as an opportunity to learn. Because I still maintain there are some people that are basically practicing the original intent. They are there studying their history, studying, celebrating the dead as it was ordained. Now let me bring this story now back to Igbo land, back to an Igbo festival known as Odo. It's mainly practiced around Enugu region, in Ngbo, in Nsukka, in Ihalomona, around these regions. Now, I don't really know if other communities within Birth of Biafra if we have similar culture. Because in Nnewi, the only one I know in Nnewi is the festival of Asalo. They said, Edo Nnewi, the primal deity in Nnewi, she lost her daughter Asedo. So every around November, so this is the time that no, no, every September we celebrate the death of the mourning period in Asalo. Now there are things that we don't do. We don't perform some sacrifices. We don't do unzu, iman manzu or iman tunzu within that mourning period. Now let's look at Odo in Nsukka. What's the intention of Odo? What's that masquerade? Because any institute cultural practice that our ancestors did, it was done for a purpose. Now we have to understand that there is very close coincidence between the Halloween and us at this time practicing our own Odo. Now this festival actually agrees between, just like the Halloween festival, we also believe that Odo festival is a time where the dead comes to visit the living on earth. Now it is strangely coincidental that Halloween and us down here, that we have this similar culture or this similar practice, but somehow one has been demonized and one is still very much acceptable even in pop culture. Now let's look at Odo now. Odo now, during this time now, there are people that we call the Baramon, a certain group of men that have been initiated into the masquerade cult. They come out, they wear the Odo masquerade. And masquerade cults are very secretive in Igbo land, so women are not really allowed to see the initiation periods, the very secretive processes of it. Maybe they're trying to fix up the Odo. Women are not really allowed to participate, but women are meant to cook and present, food that the visitors and the people they are going to use to celebrate the festival. Now, after the whole secretive aspect of this preparation, now everybody, both men, women, excluding gender, without religion, everybody is expected to come out to watch the masquerade and merry. Now, it's trying to tell us that then we have a way of not just venerating our ancestors, but there's a time that we believe that they actually walk the earth with us. They come to visit us. Then we present them with food and drinks as a way to obtaining blessings from them. Now, during this festival, it's also good that this masquerade represented that it's not just every single ancestor that lived that were good ancestors. We also had people that lived their life and they were not good people. So what do? They represent this kind of people by wearing a dark masked Odo with thorns all over its body to represent that not everybody that lived a good life. Now those ones are kind of excluded. It's also seen as a time to show the living that there are consequences of your actions, good and bad. Now they come to celebrate with us, with the living, and everybody merry. And at the end of the day, they move towards the hillside. And it's symbolically seen as them departing like they came before. It's also important to note that this festival occurs every two years. It's not a yearly thing. Now, the intermediate period between the years is seen as a preparation time before they now come to work with it. And they said that this festival lasts for a period of 3 months. So there have to be prior preparations, part of the spiritual preparation before the physical preparation takes place. Now, they say this festival often begins with the dramatization of the ancestors coming to join the living. This is the masquerade dramatization. Now after it also ends with them experiencing their agonizing departure or their journey to the other side of eternity. So while Halloween has been appreciated, these kinds of deities, these kinds of festivals are being demonized. These kind of festivals have been neglected without much research and documentations about them. Now, I keep on telling people that the white men have came and they are gone. So it's now up to us to salvage what is left of our culture, what is left of our spirituality. Nobody is going to do it for us. So we'll have to keep on researching and we'll have to keep on, giving these informations out there, because there's a lot of comparisons. There's a lot of comparisons where, like when we talk about Iago, now people that materialize or metamorphose into leopards. Now, it's the same thing with lycanthropy, werewolves. But in pop culture, we watch werewolf movies, while this other one, the only material I've actually seen was written by Chukwemeka Ike, the bottled leopard. So I think it's essential that we get back to our roots. It's essential that we try to understand the ancestral practices and their significance, the symbolism behind it, the reasons behind it. Then that way we can actually build a much progressive society based on our ancestral cultural identity and needs. Until next time, guys, don't forget to subscribe. It's actually important to me, please. And until next time, yeah, guys. Yeah.